Shalom. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elders of Great Millstone as GMS. Peace and blessings to the Akim and the few Akwat across the four winds. This is your brother Batamayim from Great Millstone, Houston, coming to you with a quick lesson. A brother sent me this, it's a video, but this was the first image, from the video. But it reads, young mother drops her children off to her mother because she's dating a new man and wants to live her life stress-free. Well, in this society, they give the women the liberty to, pretty much gad abroad, do whatever they want to do. That's why the elders call this place a queendom. It lifts up the so-called, I don't even like calling women, the females or the ladies, here in Babylon the Great, which Babylon, when you go to the Hebrew, is Babal, which means confusion. It's a lot of confusion. Because I'm confused as to why she has 3 kids. I'm wondering where her, I'll say the dads, whether it's one dad or multiple dads, I'm assuming it's at least 2 out of the 3. It could be 3 for 3. Three kids to 3 men. They give them the liberty to do whatever they want to do, whether it's to, I'll just say erase their child before they even able to come out of the birth canal, if you get where I'm going with that. YouTube is pretty sensitive about using that A word, but it gives the ladies, liberty to delete their embryos. I'll just say that. But yeah, it's a lot of confusion, man, and mainly it's the Jake women, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American women, which makes up Israel, But just watching it, it was very disturbing. She just pulled up and wanted to drop her kids off and never come back because she met a new guy and she wants to be stress-free. Well, you should have thought about that when you were having unprotected sex. That could have, ultimately been prevented. Yeah, it is stressful to have, children, but it was your decision to lay down with the men or that man. So, you give women that the right, as they say, to their body, their choice. Well, she made a choice to end up pregnant. Her fault. But one of the cold parts to me, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, so cold. This female's name was Angel. But we do have angels on the left-hand side, the death angels, and that's pretty much what she is. She's a death angel. Matter of fact, let me grab this precept. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Most of these women want to, delete their embryos, their fetus, before they even, develop, and come out of the birth canal, before they can conceive. That's murder. Thou shalt not murder. But, through the women is the beginning of sin. Ultimately, at the end of the video, the kids, got back in the car. I was hoping that it was a skit, but the mom, you can hear in her voice, like, that didn't really sound like any acting to me. And, the women of I keep saying women, the ladies or the females of our nation, because women is a female servant. She's not doing a service to her dad, whether he's around or not, or, the man or the men of the children. She's not doing any service, so she's not a woman. She's on to the next guy already. Well, I don't even want to say already, but because there's no telling what she's been doing in between, but we know how that goes. The elders call it the cock carousel, but that's what they want to do. They want to have bodies. Because I know when I was coming up, a woman with a lot of bodies, that was frowned upon. Now they make light of it. I seen a comment that said it doesn't matter whether their body count is low or high. If it's at least 2, that's two too many. Roughly paraphrasing the quote. Because a real woman is supposed to only have one man her entire life. Because men leave their DNA inside of the female. So every time you have intercourse, that man leaves his DNA inside of you, and that stays until you perish. but she was just really ready to drop off her kids and move on with her life. Even if she did drop off her kids, that doesn't mean that you were going to be stress-free. Isaiah 32:9, rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, you careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. You think she's calling upon the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua? You think she's listening to these precepts? She seems like the type of female that'll pass by the camp and mock and scoff. But she's at ease. She wants to be at ease. She wants to be comfortable in captivity. That's why she wants to be stress-free with no more kids. After she went through the whole process of conceiving. It's just confusing. That's what this is, Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon. And Babylon, means confusion. You go to the Hebrew, it's Babal. But our women are at ease. They want to be comfortable here. But I had a few more precepts I wanted to bring. I didn't want to drag this on too long. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 3. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness. So she was going back and forth with her mom about how her mom didn't really take care of her, I guess, up to her standards. When her mom was like, hey, I was working a full-time job, She was more than likely to sound like she was a single parent also, We are still under these curses, but this was cruel to pull up on your mom and tell her it's your time to raise your grandkids. Because pretty much she was saying, since she wasn't raised or whatnot, now she can raise her grandkids. Like, that's not how that works. It really takes a village, but it's still your responsibility. You were the one that laid down and was impregnated. That's a cruel act. I would hate to have been in a situation like that, being dropped off and then ultimately have to get back in the car thinking, you're going to your grandparents' house. A lot of times you go to your grandparents' house, it's a little more freedom, a little bit more fun at times, just depending. But get back in the car, but not knowing that ultimately your mother was finna drop you off and never come back. That's cruel. That could take a toll on our kids. But the next precept I had was Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. Just showing that we're still under these curses. Deuteronomy 28 and 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. Man, the ladies of our nation they fit this perfect. They're evil toward, what they call in this system is a baby daddy. It's the dad of the child, the father of the child. They're evil. And, evil is bad times. Like, they don't, precepts say, it's best to dwell in a house, roughly paraphrasing, to dwell in a house with a lion and a dragon than of the woman. You think she's peaceful at home? And then she's even evil towards her son and daughter. You're just gonna drop them off and never come back. Like, that's evil. That's a bad time. Like, your children need their mother, for that I'll just say that nurturing, But that's why we need Yahweh Shah to come back, so we can have order restored. And now women can get back to being actual women, being servants to their man, to, Lord willing, we of that hopeful elect, the elect men, of the 144,000, 12,000 from the 12 tribes of Israel, and even, the rest of the 1/3 was that innumerable multitude, to where our women's feet, wouldn't even want their feet to touch the ground. But, Lord willing, we can get back into that soon. Job chapter 39, verse 16. She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. She is hardened against her young ones. She was trying to give these kids, to her grandmother as if they weren't hers. She didn't want them anymore. She wants to be stress-free. Come on now. Like, I don't know, that's just tough. I don't have kids, but I know that's tough. So I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters that would love to have kids. You know, we're not living in a time to have kids. If the Lord blesses you with them, yeah, it is bittersweet. It's bitter because, shit, that's what America's name means. It's bitter. America means bitter. And then the sweet part, you know, it is a blessing to have kids, but it's even more bitter. You have to raise your kids in a society where you don't have any control over them. You can't discipline them, as the scriptures say. You know, you can't, you know, teach them to not go into the way of the heathen because they're pushing, the alphabet mafia is pushing, you know, the LMNOP, you know, all the alphabets. They're pushing that upon the kids at an early age, and et cetera, you know, all manners of wickedness. But Job 39:17, Job 39:17, because Yahweh by Shem Yahushua power have deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. She don't understand what she's really doing. She just wants to be stress-free. She wants to be carefree. But then, at the end of the day, the Lord will make the situation even worse. You know, even if she was to leave her children, we're still under the curses. She doesn't have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you know, of the power of how Yahweh Bashem Yahushua operates. Yahushua, you know, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua didn't leave us, you know. So why would he allow, you know, a Negro woman to do that? He would definitely punish her. I could see him punishing her, even still. You know, I was hoping this was a skit, but, you know, there's so many skits going on, whether it was a skit or not, you still got to understand that this really goes on. But the mom really didn't sound like she was a part of a skit. But Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akim and a few Akwath across the four winds. You know, Lord willing, the hopeful elect was edified. Shalom and a Ball.